Namaste bachcho. Welcome to the online English literature class. Today I'm going to start chapter 2 English literature, the fun they had. We'll discuss the title also, why this uh, title has been given to this chapter, the fun they had. It has been written by not Sir Isaac Newton. He is Isaac Asimov. He is a well-known writer who is known for his science fiction, and he used to write hard science fictions. He is also known as a prolific writer. He has written more than 500 books, 90,000 letters, and postcards. Isaac Asimov has given the title The Fun They Had. Just 3-4 years back, when I was taking this class of English, I had not thought even that the title, this story, will become so relevant in coming 2-3 years. This story is also a science fiction, which is talking about future of some 2051. If I'm not mistaken, this 2151, something like that. And children like you are there, but teacher like us isn't there. Something about virtual school, mechanical teacher has been talked about in this story. And these days, the scenario these days has made this possible. It was expected to be possible after 50 or 100 years, but now it is being possible in recent years. Let's begin with the story. First, let's focus on the pre-reading task. There are certain questions. At what time do you go to school? Do you like going to school? Why or why not? How many hours do you work on a computer in your school? Would you like to work longer? What would you prefer, studying at home or going to school? What would happen if your teachers were replaced by computers? Now the question. What if given a chance, would you like to replace your teachers with those mechanical teachers? Some 3-4 years back, when I had asked this question, the then batch had answered, "Ma'am, we may give a try." But what if I ask today? Every one of us is missing our school. The real school building, the teachers and the class and the student. Now I ask you the same question again. At what time do you go to your school? At what time do you wake up to attend your online classes? Question remains the same with some changes. How many hours do you work on a computer in your school? How many hours are you spending on your mobile or on your laptop or on your iPad these days? Here is the question, would you like to work longer? And I ask you a question, would you like to come back to school? What would you prefer, studying at home or going to school? I know the answer, dear children. Even if you are not there with me, you are in the passive mode right now. But I know the answer. How much you all are missing your friends in school. How long does it take you to reach your school? Do you enjoy the journey? Okay, this is a question that should not be asked these days. Do you like vacation? Why and why not? So this was the pre-reading task. Now let us summarize the story and understand it. As I told you earlier, that we'll be discussing that why this story got the name, the fun they had. Who were those who had the fun? Let's start the story. The story is about Margie and Tommy. They are the two characters. And apart from Tommy and Margie, there is a mechanical school, the mechanical teacher, and of course, mother of Margie. It happened so that Tommy found a real book, a book whose pages were stale, yellow, and crinky. And to their surprise, whatever they read at once, it was there when they read it twice as well. The words didn't move, the pages didn't turn up. They were surprised to know that what kind of book it was, because they were habituated of taking their classes on a computer or on a device where the words used to run out within time limitations, where there was no human to teach them. And in that circumstances, they got a book. Tommy got a book, and he showed it to Margie. And he told that his grandfather had told that when he was young, means Tommy's grandfather, when he was young, his grandfather had told that in olden time, books and stories were printed and they didn't move, they didn't go anywhere. Margie was pretty surprised. What kind of people were they? How did the school run at that time? Because Margie and Tommy both were at home, and their school was their mechanical teacher, in which all the lessons were pre-feeded, and they used to be online on a particular time, and the mechanical teacher would teach them. Tommy told Margie that the children at the olden time, means the time in which we are living right now, used to go to a special building, and that was called school. All the students of the same age were in one class, and they used to wear a uniform, they used to go to school, and they used to come back by time. Everything was, children were able to meet each other face to face. The teacher was able to meet the students face to face. Nothing virtual was there, nothing mechanical was there. Margie got surprised. How it was possible? How it was possible that so many children were sitting in one class and the teacher teaching the same thing, same concept to one and all? Because according to her mother had told once that the teacher, the mechanical teacher or the computer, should fit into the brain of each and every student according to the capability of that. Of course, the machine can do. The machine has that potential to do that. While discussing these things, Margie was alarmed by her mother that it was time for their school, though Margie was not at all willing to go to school. Go to a particular room and attend her classes. But she was forced, and Tommy also. Then she asked that can he go through his book. While attending her classes, where the teacher was teaching some rational number, etc., she was thinking, what kind of people were they who used to go to school, to live together? Children of the neighborhood, they went to school with each other, they come back school. How it was to be seated in one classroom, teacher coming to the class and taking the class. She was so surprised, and she whispered, humans were teachers. And then she realized what fun they had. What fun they had, the children of the past age. What fun they had. Dear children, this is the summary. After this, I am going to narrate the story line by line. But what I want to discuss, that machines have been made by human beings. No machine has the capability to produce human. Google can bring light, but it cannot spread sunshine. Nothing on this earth can replace the natural being, the nature, the society, man being social animal. No machine can replace. You must have realized past 1 year you are sitting at home. Some of you have come to school in the month of February and March to appear at your examination, but the regular schools are missing these days. Aren't you missing your friends? Aren't you missing your assembly days, your CCA days, your lunch break days? You're making a hue and cry. You're breaking off discipline, teachers shouting on you, loving you, and showing care for you. These things cannot be replaced by the machines. Before the story of 2151 turns into real, let's save this earth. Be positive. Continuing with the story. Line by line. Now, as I told you earlier that I'm going to read out this story for you, line by line. Summary has been made understand to you. The Fun They Had by Asimov. Margie even wrote about it that night in her diary on the page headed 17th May 2155. She wrote, "Today Tommy found a real book. Today Tommy found a real book. It was a very old book. Margie's grandfather once said that when he was a little boy, his grandfather told him that there was a time when all stories were printed on paper. They turned the pages which were yellow and crinkly, and it was awfully funny to read words that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to. On a screen, and then when they turned back to the page before, it had the same words on it that it had written they read it the first time. Gee, said Tommy, what a waste. When you are through with the book, you just throw it away. I guess our television screen must have had 1,000,000 books on it, and it's good for plenty more. I wouldn't throw it away. Same with mine, said Margie. She was 11 and hadn't seen as many telebooks as Tommy had. He was 13. She said, where did you find it? In my house. He pointed without looking because he was busy reading in the attic. What is it about? School? Margie was scornful. School? What is there to write about school? I hate school. The mechanical teacher had been giving her best test after test in geography, and she had been doing worse and worse until her mother had shaken her head sorrowfully and sent for the current inspector. Sorry, it is county inspector. He was a round little man with a red face and a whole box of tools with tiles and wires. He smiled at her and gave her an apple, then took the teacher apart. Margie had hoped he wouldn't know how to put it together again. You can see in this picture, he's a county inspector, the one who used to repair, and Margie is standing in despair whether this mechanical teacher the problem will be fixed or not, though she's praying that this should not be mantled again. But he knew how to set it all right, and after an hour or so, there it was again, large and black and ugly, with a big screen on which all the lessons were shown and the questions were asked. That wasn't so bad. The part she hated most was the slot where she had to put homework and test paper. Like any other children, my dear students, most of you don't like getting assignments, especially when it was offline school was going on. Like you people, Margie also doesn't like to get homework and test paper. She always had to write them out in a punch code they made her learn when she was 6 years old. and the mechanical teacher calculated the marks in no time. The inspector had a smile after he was finished and patted her head. He said to her mother, "It's not the little girl's fault, Mrs. Jones. I think the geography sector was geared a little too quick. Those things happen sometimes. I have slowed it up to an average 10-year level. Actually, the overall pattern of her progress is quite satisfactory." And he patted Margie's head again. Margie was disappointed. She had been hoping they would take the teacher away altogether. They had once taken Tommy's teacher away for nearly a month because his history sector had blanked out completely. So she said to Tommy, "Why would anyone write about school?" Tommy looked at her with very superior eyes. "Because it's not our kind of school, stupid. This is the old kind of school that they had hundreds and hundreds of years ago." He added roughly, pronouncing the word carefully. "Centuries ago." Margie was hurt. "Well, I don't know what kind of school they had all that time." She read the book over his shoulder for a while, then said, "Anyway, they had a teacher." Sure, they had a teacher, but it wasn't a regular teacher. It was a man. And I suggest all of you to underline this. It wasn't a regular teacher, it was a man. What a concept. Children of that age, they are studying through mechanical teacher, and knowing about a human as a teacher was not less than a surprise for them. A man? How could a man be a teacher? Well, he just told the boys and girls things and gave them homework and asked them questions. It was another surprise for Margie. How it could happen. A man isn't smart enough. Sure he is. My father knows as much as my teacher. He can't. A man can't know as much as a teacher. He knows almost as much, I bet. Margie wasn't prepared to dispute that. She said, "I wouldn't want a strange man in my house to teach me." Tommy screamed with laughter. "You don't know much, Margie. The teachers didn't live in the house. They had a special building and all the kids went there. They had a special building and all the kids went there." They're talking about school. Special building. What an imagination. And all the kids learned the same thing. Sure, if they were the same age. But my mother says a teacher had to be adjusted to fit the mind of each boy and girl. It teaches and that each kid has to be taught differently. Just the same, they didn't do it that way then. If you don't like it, you don't have to read the book. See, the two of the friends, they're almost having a kind of discussion and dispute regarding the old pattern of school, the real pattern of school. I didn't say I didn't like it, Margie said quickly. She wanted to read about those funny schools. They weren't even half finished when Margie's mother called. "Margie, school, ting tong." Margie looked up. "Not yet, Mama." "Now," said Mrs. Jones, "and it is probably time for Tommy too." Margie said to Tommy, "Can I read the book some more with you after school?" "Maybe," he said nonchalantly. He walked away whistling, the dusty old book tucked beneath his arm. Margie went to the schoolroom. Underline again. Schoolroom. It was right next to her bedroom, and the mechanical teacher was on and waiting for her. It was always on at the same time, every day except Saturday and Sunday, because her mother said Little girls learn better if they learn at regular hours. The screen was lit up and it said, "Today's arithmetic lesson is on the addition of proper fraction. Please insert yesterday's homework in the proper slot." See, a robot, a screen, and Margie is simply lost somewhere in thoughts. What do you think? What is she thinking? She's thinking about a human being teacher, children going to school, children meeting each other, and she's really thinking that what fun they would be having. Margie did so with a sigh. She was thinking about the old schools they had when her grandfather's grandfather was a little boy. All the kids from the whole neighborhood came laughing and shouting in the schoolyard, sitting together in the schoolroom, going home together at the end of the day. They learned the same things so they could help another in the homework and talk about it. And the teachers were people. The mechanical teacher was flashing on the screen. When we add the fractions half and half, 4 and so, and in the meanwhile, Margie was thinking about how the kid must have loved it in the old days. She was thinking about the fun they had. Here we come to the end of the story. Some of you must be thinking that in fact you have lost the fun that you used to have in the school. Trust me, we teachers are also missing you. In my next PDF, I'll be sharing all the exercises. Some of them will be done online with you, and some of them will be shared as a PDF. We have got lot many things to do in this exercise in this chapter. So be ready. Till then, bye for now. See you in the next class. Thank you.